Okay. All right. You ready?
A little less blurry.
A little less blurry. Hello and welcome everyone to episode 64 of the GGG Podcast. Thank you for joining us. As always, I'm Paul, and over here is my co-host Phil. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to our podcast on YouTube, please do so. We'd really appreciate it. And if you're listening to the audio-only version on Spotify or Apple Podcast, do that as well. What's going on, Phil? You're giving me some album vibes this today. What's going on?
I just want everyone who watches this show to know, all of our faithful GGGers out there, you can call me Big Man Blastoise from now on. That is my new persona. That is who I am deep down. I didn't realize till I heard the song. I didn't even like Blastoise, to be honest. I was more of a Charizard main, but that song just slapped so much booty. Good God.
Yeah.
Also, hi. Hi, Paul. How's it going?
You got to ringtone that song or something. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll put it at the end of the video for those listeners. Just search. Is it Big Time or Big Booty Blastoise?
I think it's just called Blastoise by Gen Oneer.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, it has been a pretty wild and wacky week of games, and by that I mean slow. Not too much has happened. I've played a lot of Marvel Rivals because there are daily quests. I guess a slight bone to pick. We talked last week about the new event they're doing in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
I feel like every day it changes because they keep being like, oh no, this isn't good. How do we fix this?
It's just not good.
It's just not good.
There's nothing to fix.
But I do want the paint in there to get that cool Star-Lord skin. Yeah. Even though I will never use it. Mm-hmm. Game is okay. Let me break it down.
Here we go.
If you're listening to this show, you probably played Marvel Rivals. You probably played this new version of the game. But you have 3 characters to choose from. It is Iron Fist, it is Black Widow, and it is Star-Lord. And you have to move a ball Rocket League style. I say Rocket League instead of soccer because it is 3v3 like Rocket League traditionally. Yeah. You have to move it downfield and get it into the opponent's goal by running it in. You can't kick it in, you can't push it in, you got to run it in. And the weird thing is that Black Widow is the only character who can sprint. Yeah. But Star-Lord is the only character who can fly. And then Iron Fist is the only character who can steal the ball. Mm-hmm. But they can all kind of do the other thing, just not as well. Mm-hmm. So it's bad because you could just play as Star-Lord and just fly up and then land in the thing. Yeah. And they've made it that Iron Fist attack kind of tracks got Star-Lord a little bit now, but man, it is just not fun. And every time I have to do 3 missions, I'm like, I just let me get my one goal that I need to get the mission done. Or let me do my pass, and then I'm just faking it the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So that's it. I hope that their future endeavors are more successful.
Yeah, same as you. Very disappointed in the event. I think the character balancing is I don't know. I'm doing those to get the quests. And if I don't have enough quests to get to the next level, I'm like, I'll wait another day and do it that way. So yeah, it's a disappointing. I think the thing is, it's such a blatant ripoff of Lucio Ball. And look, I get it. Lucio Ball is a blatant ripoff of Rocket League, but it's
which is just car soccer.
Yeah, which is just car soccer. But Lucio, his abilities really work in Overwatch for Lucio Ball, being able to go fast, being able to push the ball forward and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And whereas in this game, the 3 characters you just described, it feels like it needs to be one character that you play, and they all have the steal and the pass and the dodge or something like that, but they don't. It's just very clunkily put together, and it's not an event I'm all about. So next, please.
Honestly, I think maybe all Captain Americas, which I know probably isn't great considering it is a Chinese celebration, and or give us all of the characters just in the game. You can play as any of them. You figure it out.
Sure.
But, I think kind of following the Jeff Winter event thing, this is all sort of starting to track as like, okay, their events are like kind of fun. The Jeff thing was a little bit more fun, but you also couldn't really tell if you were going to win until like the last 6 seconds of the match.
Yeah.
So the balancing there is just not as good as the main game. Hey, but you know what? Main game's still great. Thank you for doing that, guys. Thanks for all of that.
Yes. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals myself, trying to make progress. I finally found some articles online that were also like, hey, yeah, the Battle Pass progression is too slow. And it's look, if it was a trickle of progression, that'd be fine. But I think the problem is like you log in, you do your dailies, and then most of the time you can do most of your dailies in like a mission or two. And then you're like, well, I'm not making any more progress if I play this game anymore. And so it's completely built on that system of, well, you just got to log back in every day. And so that's not what I'm about. So I do hope that they change that to some extent. But we will see. But yeah, aside from playing that, did jump on some Helldivers. I checked out, I re-downloaded Civilization 6 as well. Wanted to get my Civ on before Civ 7 comes out in 2 weeks now. Oh my goodness. Maybe 3 weeks? 2.5 weeks, something like that. So yeah.
February's starting off hot.
Yeah. It is. We're going to get a lot of games. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is on February 4th. Exobourne, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit in the news, that's also coming out at the beginning of February. So we're going to get some games moving forward here. So, I have to bring this up. I think there's something going on. There's something in the water because I've been, in my spare time when I'm on Steam and I see my friends on Steam, I noticed one of my friends had been playing Skyrim, and I was like, oh, okay, that's weird that he's playing Skyrim out of nowhere. Kind of weird. But it was, I clocked it because I had downloaded Skyrim on my PlayStation, and I was playing it like on my Portal before bed. Because it's Skyrim. It's a single player game. It's easy to pick up and put down and whatnot. Yeah. And I was like, I think after I've gotten off of the Dragon Age Veilguard train, I'm like, God, I still want an RPG. Dragon's Dogma wasn't hitting it for me. And then I saw that ESO Elder Scrolls Online is on a huge sale right now on Steam, and I was like, oh man, I gotta pick up. Because I own the base version, but you can get including the most recent DLC for the game. Every single DLC for the game you can get for $18 on Steam right now, and that's a lot of. The game's been out for like 10 years, and it's gotten updates.
That's plenty.
So it's gotten graphical updates as well. But I'm like, for $18, I should get back on this horse. And then while filling out the agenda today, I saw an article saying that Skyrim is trending again. For whatever reason, there are now sites like IGN, Games Radar, GameSpot that have been pushing Skyrim articles because people are searching Skyrim. And so anytime in their analytics, if they get a certain topic, they're like, all right, let's try to do an article on that game. And so, yeah, Skyrim, for whatever reason, is in the air, and I have been affected by it. So
I wonder if there is it's been a while. I wonder if we're going to finally get news about Elder Scrolls 6. I feel like there's probably some connection going on, especially Elder Scrolls Online being on sale. Maybe this is just pie in the sky, high hopes. But maybe Bethesda, after going off in the wilderness and kind of effing off for a little while and not making good games. Actually, I've heard the Indiana Jones game is pretty good. Right. I started to play it and I'm still interested. That said, maybe they're going to come back in and realize that we need it right now. You guys, we need it. I don't care if it's done. Just give it to us. Your games aren't ever done. Just give us the game. $100, I don't care.
Yeah, we'll see.
Skyrim came out before Grand Theft Auto 5, yeah?
I believe it came out in 2011, if my memory serves me right.
Fix the timeline. Fix the timeline, but let's just get on there.
Yeah, all right. So I will I'll be downloading ESO, all 130 gigabytes of it, and
smokes.
I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out again. I tried it way back when, but I really never came back for any of the updates or improvements that they made. So, all right. Well, enough of that. Let's get into what is actually happening this week. So, for our major releases, Eternal Strands comes out today. It's getting pretty good reviews. Looks like a very interesting art style. You got some Shadow of the Colossus gameplay there, where you can like climb on giant monsters. You also have environmental effects. You can freeze things. You can build bridges with ice blocks. You know, there's the fire actually has fire mechanics. Feels like a nice hybrid of like a Zelda game and maybe like a Dragon Age or something like that. Maybe a more hardcore RPG. But you've actually played the demo, Phil. What are your impressions of Eternal Strands?
I played the demo probably for about like 3 or 4 hours, and I was like, when is this thing going to end? Not in a bad way. I was just like kind of anticipating that the demo would end at a point and that I was excited to continue upon.
Sure.
And I ended up stopping playing the demo because I was like, well, I know the game's going to come out next week. I just want to play more of it then. But it's good. It is quite good. It's kind of like a... Do you remember, what is it, Kingdoms of Amalur?
Yes, I do remember that game, yes. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it is an updated version of that. Sorry, Celsius got to me. That meets Shadow of the Colossus and adds in like those cool mechanics you were talking about, like with the elements and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's some really cool stuff you can do. Like there's a dragon that shoots fireballs at you, and you can like ice the fireballs as they're coming towards you. You can pick stuff up, and like if you see an enemy wolf coming at you, you can pick it up and throw at another wolf. The physics in it is pretty cool. There's a climbing mechanic a la Legend of Zelda. And what else was... Oh, there's a lot of crafting, and like you're getting tools to get better armor, to get better weapons, all this stuff. And the characters in it are all pretty interesting. Like there's these little animated sequences between gameplay, and they're all sort of drawn kind of... It feels like a lo-fi version of the Critical Role TV show. Like
sure. Vox Machina? Is that what you're talking about?
Vox Machina,
yeah.
It's like a slightly lower budget version of that, but I really enjoy the art style and everything they're going for. So I think this is going to be like one of those sleeper hits that by the end of it I will have enjoyed quite a bit. Some of the other cool things you could do with the ice is like if there's a dragon flying around, you could freeze its wings and it will crash to the ground. Mm-hmm. So they've kind of fleshed out the way that the elements coincide and relate to each other. So suffice to say, pretty excited, and it's on Game Pass. Ooh. So for $10 a month, you can play it at home as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. And that's it's time to loop in our sponsorship from Microsoft. I'm just kidding.
They don't have the money. Well, they do have the money for this, but they're not spending it on games.
All right, and then our other new release, well, sort of new release, is Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. This is a game that I played with my friends way back in the day. Ninja Gaiden used to be like one of the top tier action hack and slash games out there, and some of the cutscenes in this game are ridiculous. It's good to see this game back in the spotlight. It's been a long time. I kind of forgot about it, no lie. Mm-hmm. So are you excited about it at all, Phil? It looks good. The graphical revamp, definitely.
It looks like almost remake level. Like it is that attentively done. Like it doesn't look like they just reskinned it or they just up-res the HD. Like it looks like they went back in and crafted each bit. The Ninja Gaiden games were always really fun and really challenging, and I think what I'm running this 8-bit do controller here. I'm gonna do a little prop work today. I'm running this controller.
Wow.
And I kind of wonder if this will be good enough for it, or if I need to go get like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, man. I'm rocking out with this guy right here, so you need to step your game up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Hachi. Let's Magnum model.
Oh, sorry. I'm allergic to Microsoft.
I get it. No, and again, this is another one that's on Game Pass. I think the Ninja Gaiden games are kind of known for being difficult.
Yes.
It's not something I remember them for. I just remember them being awesome.
They are difficult. It was a different era back then. Games were harder. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Any fans of Ninja Gaiden out there, let us know in the comments. I love it. I love to see it. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of clips coming out of the game's resurgence.
And also available on Game Pass. I don't know if I said that already. If I did, whoops.
Yes, everything's available on Game Pass. All right. So
every game.
Destiny 2 back in the news, even though Bungie has declared that all of their big updates for the game are officially over. There will be no more expansions. They are still doing events and still supporting the game. And so one of the big events coming February 4th, along with some of those other games we were talking about at the beginning of the show, is that they are doing a Star Wars gear collaboration crossover. Oh, man, I really want to be done with Destiny 2, but this is pretty cool. I really want to get Stormtrooper armor as my Titan. I must say. So, yeah, it looks like there's, Death Trooper armor for there's the Warlock, the Titan. What's the third class, Phil?
The Sneakster.
The Rogue.
It's the Rogue class.
Yeah, the Rogue class. He looks like a Death Trooper. The Titan looks like a Stormtrooper. And then the Warlock looks like one of the guards for the Emperor, in the all-red outfit. So, looks pretty cool.
Hunter Titan Warlock.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm curious. The article that I'm referencing this from GameSpot, they don't really say if there's going to be weapons, if that's going to be part of it. Is there going to be a legendary Stormtrooper rifle or something like that? So that's a little, I hope that's in there. And I wonder if it's just going to be earnable through the event, or do you need the latest, DLC to even play the event? So I want to see what's going on with this. So, because I could give Destiny 2 a re-download just to play as a Stormtrooper for a little bit, but I don't know. I feel like the grinding for armor in that game always wore me down, because I'm only looking at that armor when I'm in the pause menu, and not in the actual gameplay. So yeah. What about how do you feel about this, Phil? Are you excited? Not care? Meh.
This seems like a mistake.
Why is that?
Here's my thing. I don't know. You are a Star Wars fan and you seem excited about it. Mm-hmm. I just can't think of for me, when I think of Star Wars, I'm like, yeah, I want to be the expendable bad guys.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, so I was going to say this is a classic problem I have, and I won't get into the big can of worms I have with the Disney Star Wars and everything like that, but I feel like they have been pushing nothing but the original era and their era. And it's this would have looked pretty cool if you had a clone commando as one of them, from the prequel series or something like that. Or if you wanted...
Or even Boba Fett or a Mandalorian.
Boba Fett. Or, have the Warlock look like a smuggler or something like that. Or I don't know. But yeah, it is basically this is the Empire. Mm-hmm. Here's the skins. So, but I don't know. Maybe that's what Destiny chose to work with as well. Because it's...
I mean... There's a lot of things that they could do. I think also at this point, Destiny feels so... In the rear view mirror, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't mean to be mean to that game, because I know there's a lot of people working on it, a lot of people still enjoying it, but it really does feel like, I don't know. I used to play Destiny 2 back when it launched for probably 2 or 3 years after that, and now it does. I'm reading that you can buy these from the Eververse store. You can get the ghosts. You make it look like Death Star, and there's a couple like emotes and sparrows. But it seems like these are things that you probably won't even be able to earn as readily as you just go to the Eververse store and buy them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like just selling skins. But, that's what Marvel Rivals is doing, right?
True. But that game's still fun. Actually, no, Destiny is great. I just wish that they were like, hey, we're going to do another full Destiny game.
Yeah. Yeah. I as well, I want that announcement. So I understand. All right, moving right along, Ubisoft back in the news, and turns out everything that Phil and I talk about every week about Ubisoft is true because they are doing some layoffs. Ubisoft has laid off 185 employees in this latest round of cuts. In particularly, they have confirmed that they're closing Ubisoft Leamington, which is one of the studios that worked heavily on Star Wars Outlaws, as well as Far Cry 6. So yeah, I mean, this wasn't surprising given how poorly Outlaws performed. I had guessed that Outlaws would do better over Christmas, and it really didn't. It just did okay. And I think with the amount of money that they spent on it, it's probably disappointing. So, it sucks that people are losing their jobs, but I do think Ubisoft is now in a position where they really need to trim the fat and figure out what the heck they are doing. So I hope that this is one step backwards, two steps forward kind of a thing, but I don't know. I don't think this is the first, or I don't think this is going to be the only round of layoffs this year at Ubisoft. So
to quote my favorite show, I think you should leave. Figure out what you do. You had all summer to think of it. To Ubisoft. I think they are in like the woods doing a soul searching thing right now. Mm-hmm. It's tough because they have like these big franchises that had really impressive early entries, and I feel like are kind of foundational to like modern gaming. Like I think Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, the Splinter Cell games, they're all very like, when they came out, we were like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Right.
They're changing the game. And now they are so far on the back foot because everybody copied what they did. Some people did it better. They would do it better. And now we're just kind of in a different like dimension of gaming, and they are stuck doing what they think works or what has worked for them in the past.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not really holding water. People are getting kind of sick of it, and then I don't know. I'm very excited for the new Assassin's Creed game, but I'm also just nervous about playing it and nervous about the discourse around it that I know is going to be annoying.
Yeah. And speaking of that, that's the next thing in the news. So Ubisoft is moving forward. I had suspected they would delay the game one more time, and I guess that's still possible that they could do, but it really feels like they're not going to. It feels like they want to hit that March release date that they talked about, and so pre-order bonuses have been announced. We went through the different editions. I think last episode, Phil, we talked about the different Assassin's Creed editions, and there's also a bunch.
That was Monster Hunter.
Excuse me, that was Monster Hunter. So maybe we should talk about Assassin's Creed Shadow editions this episode. But we're also getting a lot of merchandise that is coming out. So, there's an art book, or Assassin's Creed Shadows is getting an official guidebook, which, I'm an old school gamer. I love a good guidebook, especially if I'm trying to 100% something. And there's just a lot of games that don't have that anymore, even from a third party. So we're seeing like paperback versions of that come out, hardcover versions of that coming out. So it's good to see that, they're going for it. They got the merch, they got the hype. They're carrying through with the launch date. I really like, I don't know if you've seen recently, Phil, they've released some screenshots and some limited footage of like base building. You know, similar to like Assassin's Creed has done this in the past. Valhalla, the most recent one, the most recent full-fledged Assassin's Creed game, you know, had your your village that you took care of, and while you couldn't place things, you could upgrade it and prioritize different things and whatnot. Now in Assassin's Creed Shadows, you can actually base build to some extent. It's not as in depth as Survival Craft or anything like that, but you can have some say of the layout, which is pretty cool. So I am excited about that. But yeah, do you have the additions for the different Assassin's Creed? Do they exist?
I do.
Perfect.
They do. There's standard and digital deluxe so far. Standard has a base game, a pre-order bonus, upcoming expansion, and then a pre-order bonus quest at launch. So that's what you get with the regular. That is $69.99. So we're already with that extended price. Digital deluxe edition, or I guess that is like kind of the normal AAA price right now.
Sure.
The digital deluxe comes with the base game, pre-order bonus for an upcoming expansion, pre-order bonus for content launch. The deluxe pack, let me see what the deluxe pack has. It has got Eye of the Dragon Katana, Claw of the Dragon Long Katana. So like some weapons, some mounts, a Sekiryu Beast mount.
Okay.
It's pretty sick.
Okay.
And then some stuff for your hideout, Sekiryu mask, tapestry, stuff like that. And then mastery points, which I'm guessing is like an in-game currency.
Sure.
Actually, it seems like it is points for your skills. So you'll have like a little bit of a skill bonus. That is $90. But just for everyone at home watching, our little tip, day one with Ubisoft Plus, you get everything in the fancy edition for $17 a month. So play it for 2 months and then cancel it.
Ha
I do think, I find it kind of wild that they are doing this on Ubisoft Plus, because that's just cutting into their profits. Like I could see so many people doing that on consoles and on PC and just being like, all right, I've got what I want out of the game, and then stop Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah, I think the more I talk about the subscription model, Phil, I start to think like a lot of people don't think like us, and where it's like, if I'm not using a subscription, I cancel it. Mm-hmm. There are some that I'm like, I haven't really used that much, I'll let it go another month, whatever. But most of the time, especially for like gaming stuff, like if I'm not actively using it, I cancel it. And I guess there's a lot of people who just keep that subscription live. And like, I don't know. I think that there's too much stuff that comes out on Ubisoft Plus and Game Pass. But like Game Pass, as we were saying earlier, it's got all these freaking games all the time. So it's a great deal for the consumer. I just don't understand how they're making money on the back end with this.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I do want to say a special thank you to people who don't cancel it, because you are funding those of us who do cancel it.
That's true.
So please forget about it. Don't download Rocket Money.
Yeah.
Forget that. I hate that ad. I see it too often.
Seriously.
Unless you guys want to sponsor the show.
Yeah, for real. Rocket Money, hit us up. How we feel that.
But yeah, no, I'm excited about it. I think I've been meaning to say this for a bit, but it seems like it is the first next-gen Assassin's Creed game. Like, Valhalla was kind of that.
Yeah.
Like, it was technically next-gen, but it was the cross-border one.
Yeah.
Mirage felt like almost a remake of Assassin's Creed 1 to an extent. Like,
yeah. It was also, it's built on all the Valhalla tech. It was, going to be DLC originally. Like, yeah.
Kind of a half step. This one feels like the first game that it is like, all the screenshots look absolutely gorgeous. Like, everything seems new in this game. And that makes me pretty excited, because it's been a while since I've gotten to play like a full proper Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, same. I'm really curious. The footage of Yasuke, like, it looks cool. It looks unique. It doesn't look like Ghost of Tsushima. And it honestly, he looks like more like a not a barbarian in the sense of the word of barbarian, but like a barbarian in a D&D sense of like, he's the big strong guy. He's not like Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima is more like he's strong, but he's more of an elegant, well-trained samurai, whereas Yasuke is like, I'm gonna throw you through this house. Like,
yes,
and then all the stealth gameplay looks good as well as the other characters. So I'm very curious about it. I think it's coming out at the right time of year. I don't think there's a lot of Assassin's Creed games that actually come out in March. I think they pretty much all come out in like October, November. So I'm interested to see how it does in this time slot. And I'm really interested to see because Ubisoft absolutely needs this to be a success. And if it is not, we're going to see a lot of stuff happen to that company. So
I'm just taking a cursory look at what is... Oh, wait, was this last year? Oh, no, this is 2025 March. I want to see what else is coming out. Rise of the Ronin is coming to PC. That I was like, okay, that looks similar, but that's a game that came out last year.
Yeah.
There is nothing... Well, the Tales of the Shire Lord of the Rings game is coming out, so...
yeah, I don't think that's the same market.
Yeah. Atomfall, which kind of seems like... it's like a Fallout meets BioShock type of game.
Sure,
but it's nothing that's like AAA and huge. So yeah, if they do this right, if the game comes out and is kind of what we expect, they should be able to run roughshod up until summer.
Yeah, I feel that. I hope you hang in there, Assassin's Creed. Also, I hope you learn from this game that not all your games need to be exactly the same. And that you can just do a samurai game instead of slapping the Assassin's Creed label on it. All right, pressing on in the news. So a game I brought up earlier, Exobourne, is making some waves through some pretty major reviewers and press sites online, both on YouTube, on Twitch, and as well as on IGN, GameSpot, everything like that. So Exobourne is a extraction. It's an open world extraction shooter. And as far as the exos go, it's like truly an exoskeleton. It's not like a mech game. It very much feels like Edge of Tomorrow, that Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt movie, where you have like an armor rig, or what's that Matt Damon movie?
Is it
Elysium or something like that?
Elysium.
Yeah.
I always think that was an Eminem movie because it was supposed to be an Eminem movie. Fun fact. But then
it was
Matt Damon.
Okay.
Yeah, so Eminem wanted to shoot it in Detroit, and he wouldn't shoot it if otherwise, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. So they got Matt Damon.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, yeah, definitely has that kind of exosuit feel, and it influences a lot of gameplay as far as traversal and armor and weapons that come out of your exosuit. And so it's impressing a lot of major reviewers. Were you able to see any video of this game, Phil, or the trailers?
Yeah, I'm watching some gameplay right now. So I guess extraction shooters are always the type of game that I'm a little confused about because it's multiplayer / PvE.
Right. Yes.
So you're running around as your exo and you're taking people out, getting objectives, and then getting back to where you're going. It's interesting. It looks like graphically it's vaguely impressive. It kind of feels like where PlayerUnknown Battleground was when it came out.
Sure. Yeah.
This feels like a now version of that, where it's not very impressive, but it's this is fine.
Right.
And it's weird. I feel like the vibes kind of remind me of Crysis a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, where it's kind of it's abandoned cities and kind of apocalyptic, but not like a nuclear apocalypse. That kind of vibe. So yeah, I think it looks really cool. Honestly, the only extraction shooter I ever really got into was The Division, and that was just a mode in The Division where you go to the dark zone or the dark area. I don't know.
Dark zone. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was.
They weren't very creative. That as long as it took you to come up with dark zone is how long it took them to come up with the dark zone.
So yeah, I mean, I'm curious about it. I mean, I kind of usually get upset in PvP environments where you have to earn gear and then you could lose it, like a Dark and Darker situation where it's I earned all that gear and I dropped it and that other guy just picked it up from me just because he got lucky or whatever. And so I tend to get kind of frustrated with these types of games, but it does look cool enough that I kind of want to check it out. So yeah, I don't know.
This is Interesting one. Do we know if this is free to play or if it's going to be a cost for this one?
I was about to look that up myself. So let's see. Exobourne free to play. I don't think so. It looks like it's on Steam.
Exobourne. Yeah, it doesn't. This is just request access. So yeah, it doesn't say whether or not it will be free to play or how much it will cost. I guess there's a playtest coming up, so we'll be able to find out more about it then, ideally.
Yeah, and that's news for people out there. So you can request access for the playtest on Steam right now. It's Exobourne through Steam. You can request access. I mean, I have a feeling that because there's no price listed, it probably is going to be free to play.
Yeah.
Seems
like it.
So yeah. So okay. Well, if it's free to play, then I'm definitely checking it out. So yeah. All right.
What do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose? Moving on in the news, Splitfiction got a little bit of news about Splitfiction. This is the video game that comes from the developers who developed It Takes Two and A Way Out and games like that. And they have confirmed that similarly to those other games, when you buy one copy of the game, you are given a second copy to distribute to a friend. So if you have somebody who wants to play online together, then you don't have to buy another copy. And so that's really great, especially because like with It Takes Two, it was very much like... like a partner's game, like a girlfriend, boyfriend, type of a situation, which has worked out fantastic and resulted in many great memes online. So yeah, I think that's cool that there's a free copy, and I was probably going to pick up this game anyway.
Yeah. This game looks so I'm always impressed by how visually stunning these games are.
Yeah,
and how their model for selling games isn't your normal AAA way of doing it, right? Like giving a free game to each person. And these do kind of feel like one-off experiences, weirdly enough. Like I think A Way Out, what was the other game?
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. They're both games that I feel like you play once and you're like, never going back because I got everything that I needed out of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And it is hard to just coordinate people's schedules. But this one really looks great. I like the creativity on display, and I feel like every game they're sort of doing something a little bit bigger than the last game.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited for that.
It feels like they're just taking everything they laid down foundationally, they're taking it to the next level of now it's a video game where instead of doing all these platformer video games, now we're switching game genres every level. And so I'm really curious to see it. I thought the gameplay in It Takes Two was fantastic. I didn't love the story in the game. And with A Way Out, I also enjoyed A Way Out. I just couldn't stand the voice acting. Respectfully to those actors, I believe they were Norwegian or something like that. They were trying to do a Bronx accent, and they just couldn't do it. And there were certain scenes in that game where it sounded really bad. But hopefully the voice acting is on par and the story is on par, and we get some awesome gameplay out of this. So yeah, I'm really happy. This makes it a little bit more worth picking up for me, knowing that I could just give somebody a copy.
More games should have this, because I feel like multiplayer games, there's a lot of them that I have to convince people to buy.
Yeah.
But if I could just get it and be like, hey, here's a copy, play with me, it would make my life so much better. And you're going to get more people to play the game, because that's just going to spread the word of mouth to, oh, I want to play this with this person. Wonder if they have it. Well, still, you buy it and two people get it. I don't know. That's Helldivers would be amazing with this. If you're like, all right, I bought it and I get one squad mate with me for free. Even if that was just a promotion they could run for a little while. Ooh, boy.
Well, honestly, have you ever seen on Steam, there will be it's the Among Us 4-pack, where it's you can buy 4 copies at a discounted thing and just distribute them. And they don't really do that for many games, But I really like, what was that? What's that game? It's kind of like Among Us. It's like something protocol.
Lockdown Protocol.
Lockdown Protocol. Like I
Yeah.
looked at that on Steam and I was like, I would love to buy this just as a pack for my friends, and then for a game night we'd play this game. But it would only let me buy individual copies instead of the bundle, and it's just like, dude, do a bundle. Do a bundle.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Give me even a slight discount.
Give me a reason.
And I'm so in.
Give me a reason.
Yeah. Lockdown Protocol looks really fun. I want to play that pretty badly with a group. So
yeah,
if you ever start assembling a team, you let me know.
Well, I don't know, my birthday's coming up, so maybe I might do something like that online for my birthday. So we will see.
I'm down.
We will see. We will see. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the news, Phil. We have a little bit of time. Is there anything else that you've been playing this week that you wanna talk about? No pressure if you have not.
No, what I've been doing this week is they launched a new Magic the Gathering set, so that's what I've been doing.
Good.
Hold on, let's see if I can. Okay, yeah, hold on. I got some cards off Whatnot. This is like, I think this is like an $80 card right now. It's nuts.
Wow.
Got out of a pack.
Wow.
But so they're kind of reprints of these classic cards that they released in this movie poster style. This one is like, it's like a monster movie. There's a monster type in Magic the Gathering called Eldrazi. And they're just like big, bad, beefy boys. So that's what I've been doing, just assembling a new deck, which is probably one of the most weird and addictive things about Magic the Gathering is like, I've got an idea. What if squirrels had guns? And then you build that deck.
Yeah.
And find every piece of symmetry you can.
Do you think that's how they came up with the video game? Is they were playing Magic and...
Yeah.
Like squirrel with a gun.
They're like, what? We have 4 squirrel with a gun decks here. Why don't we just make a game? As traditionally most video games are made.
Yeah.
But that's been about it. It's been kind of like a slow week outside of Marvel's. Is there anything else you're playing right now?
I mean, like, I've been playing too much Marvel Rivals, playing more competitive and whatnot, learning tips and secrets and what. I'm starting to get into, like, the reticles. Have you seen the customized reticles that people have been posting?
Those have been sliding up on my TikTok, and I'm very interested.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about them just because of the angle that you're shooting from, because everything's in third person in this game. I think that there's I've noticed, like, I did it with Rocket and it really helped me with Rocket's aiming. So I think I'm going to go ahead and, like, at least for my favorite characters, I'm going to do the custom reticles. So be jumping into that. But yeah, I'm just really stoked for Civilization 7, and I don't even know if it's going to be good. But I'm chomping at the bit. I love a good strategy game, and honestly, I play strategy games a lot, and I've been playing ones that are old. Like, the only strategy game I got last year was Frostpunk 2, which was really good, but it was like the only single one. And then, like, I play Stellaris, which is ancient. I play Civilization 6, which I think came out now like 6 years ago, something like that.
I think so.
Yeah. And so... And then I have some friends who play, like, Total War Warhammer 3. And so I've been playing that as well. But it's just like, I want something new and fresh. And it sounds like they've changed the mechanics in Civilization 7 enough that it's going to be a little intellectually stimulating to relearn the game a little bit. So I'm really excited for it. And I hope it's good. But I don't know yet. It could just be all hype in my brain right now.
Civilization 6 is still $50 on Steam. Oh, sorry, $60 on Steam for the base game. I know it goes on sale all the time.
Yeah.
But if you want all 18 DLCs, you're dropping $100. Obviously, wait for a sale.
Yeah,
because I've seen, like, the whole thing drops like 20. But talk about holding its value. That is very, very impressive.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still a lot of people play it. You know, I'm curious to see how the sales for 7 do. To be honest, so it should be interesting. But yeah, and then
well, you know, I am a little bit interested in what is this new game coming out? The one coming out February 4th, Kingdom Come
Deliverance,
Part 2. Because we've talked about it, but the first game was a very, like, sim heavy. You're in that time, blah blah blah, and this new game seems a lot more like action heavy and like a Knight's Tale, but rated R as heck, you know?
Yeah. I mean, look, the storytelling in the game looks great. I'm very curious about it. I love the cutscenes. I love the dialogue and the acting and everything like that. The gameplay to me still looked really clunky, and so that's why I'm like, I want to wait for that review and until I can see a little bit more out of the game. But it's definitely, I think it's a type of game that is never really made. And so that's very curious, where it's like, this is a time period and we're doing Middle Ages. We're not doing fantasy. We're doing it's Middle Ages. Like, so, which I can
I would call low fantasy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but I respect that in games sometimes, where it's like, or like Chivalry 2. I was really into Chivalry 2 for a long time. It's like, there's no magic. It's you kill with swords or, you know, an arrow or whatever. But, So yeah, I'm excited for that too. We'll see how it does. We'll be talking about it more next week. Hopefully the review embargo will be lifted by then. So, all right. Well, that is going to wrap us up for this week, episode 64 of the GGG Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do so over on YouTube. And if you're listening to the audio-only version on Spotify or Apple Podcast, follow us over there as well. I'm excited for February. I'm ready for January to be done. Just a few more days. Phil. We're almost there.
This January has been 8 to 10 business years long. Let's get to February. Let's get to some games.
Let's do it. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.